I think it's going.
All right. So here we have John from Fotowurx. He's my cinematographer for all our Shelly's Beauty Studio YouTube videos. Yes. And he's a photographer, videographer, an amazing cinematographer. We thought we'd make this episode for people in his industry today and for people in my beauty industry. So that way we mix the two and we can answer some questions he has for me.
That's awesome. Thank you, Shelly. I'm really happy and really excited to be here. Being on the other side of the camera usually and now being in front of it, it's a little bit different for me. But I'm really excited about asking you questions about how to get the best look for being in front of the camera, whether you're taking photos or whether you're doing videos. There's a lot of things I've learned over the last 10 years about, you know, things that just don't look quite right. And I don't know if it's the fault of the makeup artist or if it's just, you know, people just trying to exaggerate the look so much that it actually doesn't look natural.
Okay, so for photos and videos, the makeup, how we do it is actually quite similar. It's the same rules apply. On camera, it's on camera, both is on camera. I guess it would probably be maybe the makeup artist didn't have enough experience, I would say, on camera kind of shoots. And to make it look good and natural, you really have to do all the proper steps from 1 to 10 or whatever it may be. You have to do your primer, you have to color match properly. That's really important. If your foundation color is wrong, the whole look will be all wrong.
Yeah.
They have to have the right touch and technique. They should consult with the client what the client is looking for as well, so that way the client will be comfortable wearing that too. So like you mentioned, if you think it looked weird, right, and you've done your magic on camera, the client most likely will kind of think it looked really not so good either. So then everyone's kind of not happy. So yeah, the makeup artist should consult with the client, make sure they're using the colors they love and not something they don't like. A trial is also very good, like before shooting. A trial would be great just to make sure it tests well on camera and whatever lighting you may be in, outside or inside. There is also a really good way to do the makeup so that way it looks good outside and with indoor lighting. And that would be up to the professional makeup artist. So when you're looking for an artist, you can probably look at their resume maybe by that. By referral is probably best as well.
So maybe even looking at somebody's portfolio online to see what they have?
Absolutely, look at their portfolio and talk to them, because if you speak to someone as well and have a quick conversation, even 5 minutes, you'll actually be able to gauge how much they know and how much they don't. Because of course there's a lot of people that embellish as well, or maybe they did a photo shoot and it looks amazing. Maybe it was just way too photoshopped, or it could have been they might have had help from another artist, because a lot of bigger shoots there are multiple artists for them as well. So yeah, a quick chat would help, and the consult.
Yeah, no, I know in my industry, in our industry, it's important to get referrals. And I know referrals is definitely one way to find out, who is the right makeup artist for you.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm going to go into a series of questions, because there's a couple of things that I've learned or I've seen over the last 10 years in doing portraits and weddings. So maybe you can just kind of, for the people out there who are getting married either this year, next year, or whenever, whether it's a wedding or a portrait, certain things to kind of look for. So my first question is, I've seen people who's put on, I guess, a lot of foundation, and the makeup ends up rubbing on people's clothes. So how do you avoid that? So when you have a bride and a groom together, that the makeup's not rubbing off on his suit. Because it's yes, you can Photoshop it out, but my preference as a photographer is not to Photoshop it.
Of course.
Right? We want to get it right done. We want it, because you're gonna be hugging relatives, you're gonna be hugging a slew of different people, and you don't want your face coming off.
Right.
So how do you avoid that?
Okay, so those are the special techniques we use for layering that most or all professional artists should know. I've done that on myself today. I will demonstrate. John is conveniently wearing a black shirt, so I will actually press his black sleeve into my face, and I have full makeup on, ready for the camera. So you'll see it doesn't come off, okay? So I'm pressing it pretty hard, and nothing came off. It's still black.
Well, my shirt's still pretty clean.
Yeah, so it really works, right? And you can see I have a full face on. So the techniques work. Basically, I don't know if you want to get into the nitty gritty of it, but it's basically, again, primer, finding the right formula of foundation for your client. So if someone has oilier skin, you have to go with that. Or if someone has a more uneven skin texture or more mature skin or acneic skin, you just have to pick the right formulas for them. That's second. You have to set it with the proper HD powder. Because now, camera-wise, everything's HD, right? Everything's magnified. You want to use a proper HD powder. And once you sweep it on, it's not that you just sweep it on. If the makeup artists that you've encountered just have swept it on, that's how it rubs off on your clothes.
Okay.
So unfortunately, it doesn't last all day. But there's a special press and roll technique that you might have seen already. I don't know, in one of my previous videos about how to set your foundation. That is a technique that takes just literally 30 seconds and your makeup won't budge for the rest of the day. So that's a great technique.
Yeah, that's a great tip.
Yeah, that's really all it is. What else was I say about that? Yeah, so like even with my makeup, example, myself, I have super long days. So I'll get up at like 5 or 6 in the morning, do my makeup. I could get home by like 12 midnight. And my friends always wonder, how come I look exactly the same as I did from 6 a.m.? They have no clue why. And I always say, just watch the video. And it's so simple. It's really a 30-second trick. And you'll look exactly the same from morning to night. And that's why when we do the wedding makeups, myself and my team, we don't really have to go back for touch-ups. The clients are happy. They're all set for the day. Maybe if it was a really hot day, all they'll need is to touch up a little bit on their nose with some powder and their lipstick if they've been, kissing people and eating, right?
Right, well, that's a great tip. I was actually going to ask you about that because I've seen people's faces fade throughout the day.
Right,
so,
and it happens a lot.
You get hot weather. Canada here, we get very dry weather. We get very humid weather. So being prepared for the day and looking your best, not just in the morning, but also looking your best in the evening. Because it's where we get a big chunk of our photos too. You're doing some portraits, you're doing some family portraits. We want to make sure that your look is consistent throughout the day. So that's a great tip, Shelly.
And of course, just another tip, the quality of the makeup. If you're using a lower quality, unfortunately, it's not high performance enough, so that it will cause all that a little bit more easily than something that was a higher performance makeup.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. So this kind of leads me to my very next question, and it's about lashes.
Yeah.
So I've seen brides whose lashes were too long.
Okay.
And what ends up happening is it's too heavy on their eyelids that they can't keep their eyelids open for the shoot.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
That must be kind of hard for your job, right?
Oh yeah, it's hard to Photoshop in some eyes because it's just not there,
That's not gonna work, yeah.
So what's your recommendation when making the selection for lashes for people's eyes? How do you make sure you get it right? Okay,
so at our studio, we do 2 kinds of lashes. We do the ones that you can wear and it lasts for like 2 to 4 weeks, or you can do the strip lashes, which I have on today, which lasts for the day. So the client should consult with their esthetician and makeup artist which would be best for them. And most clients, if they've never worn lashes, they actually don't know which one will be best for them. And you don't want to wait till your wedding day to try to see which one's best for you. You want to find out beforehand. So you might want to tell them to try both and see which one feels more comfortable. Because some people will find one version is more comfortable, the other one's a little bit more irritating. Usually if it's done right, you don't feel anything. And it's more like which look you want more, right? So do a trial for that first and have them do it a month before so that way they can try both. So then by the wedding day, they would have gotten it right, right?
Actually, that's a great tip. That actually leads me into, if you're going to do your trial, personally what I try to do with my couples, if they're going to do a trial with their makeup artist, do your engagement shoot on the same day.
Yes.
This way you know exactly what you're going to look like on your wedding day because your trial was done right before a photo shoot. So you're actually in front of a camera.
Exactly. Do your lashes, your makeup right before for the engagement shoot. Absolutely.
Because you're going to get nice and close just like you would on your wedding day. So it's really nice that you have that opportunity to practice outside of your actual wedding day. So you're not doing it the very first time.
Yeah, and then if there's anything else you need to tweak for the wedding day, then it'll be all done as well. And for the lashes, I was just thinking about your story about how the bride couldn't keep her eyes open. I've never really seen that before or heard of something like that, but I guess it happens, right? So with that, let's say that happened to someone. There's a way to fix it. I'm not sure why she didn't, but there is a way to fix it. So she could have, I don't know if she just like totally ran out of time and she did it the night before or something like that. But if she goes back to whoever did them for her, she can actually have them trimmed down.
Oh, okay.
You can actually have them trimmed back down. So that would take some of the weight off, and then she can probably open her eyes a little bit more. Or they have a glue remover, which can remove some strands as well.
Oh, okay.
So if even that happened to you, you had it done, you don't like them, there's always a way to fix it before your photos. Yeah.
That's great tip. Great tip. So all right, that's great. So I've also been in situations where the foundation is too dark for the face.
Okay.
And there's almost like there's a separation between the face and the neck.
Okay.
So what's your recommendation for that?
So that usually should have been dealt with during a trial. So I'm not sure why that happened on a wedding day or a photo shoot day. I could only think of maybe the makeup artist was either doing the makeup in poor lighting and she couldn't see the real skin color, or maybe she ran out of the proper skin color in her kit. I'm not really sure. But usually with our makeup kits, you have such a slew of colors, you can actually mix them. So maybe it's because, even if you run out, you can mix them. So maybe she was just doing it in the wrong lighting. So applying your makeup in the morning, whether you're doing it every day or for a professional shoot, you want to apply it in natural light. So in front of a window, if possible, if you have, or some mirrors have that special natural lighting option on it, that would be best. So that way in all lighting, it would look the same. So if something like that happened, if the artist was still with you at the shoot, you can actually take a foundation brush and just brush it down towards the neckline to try to fade it out. And if you wanted to, also if the bride has the right colored powder in her purse as a touch-up, she can actually put that on a little bit and that will help lighten it back up. But usually once it's done, it's pretty done. So the professional makeup artist should be there to probably touch it back up. And then as a professional makeup artist, if you don't have natural light, you can actually really just drag the client outdoors and just make sure everything's right before we proceed with the next step. Because once the base color is wrong, as you say, it's very obvious on camera. Again, cameras pick up everything these days, even the smallest details. Maybe, I don't know, maybe photographers can sometimes bring some tools with them now.
So what's crossing my mind right now is I usually get to the bride's house as she's going through the prep process. So I think what I might do, if they're in a dark area inside the house, I'll know better to bring them into the light to make sure that they have the right look. Yeah. And then I hate to make suggestions to say, hey, your makeup artist didn't do it quite right.
Of course, you never want to say that.
But to say maybe it just needs to be tweaked a little bit, or bring the makeup artist outside with me.
Right.
So she can see exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
So that's a great tip.
And yeah, doing test shots is good. Like before our session today, I asked John to do a test shot just to make sure everything looked okay. So something like that is good too.
Okay, great. Actually, that leads me into my very last question, which ties in with the skin that doesn't quite match. So tan lines.
Tan lines.
So sometimes, especially in the summertime, people go out, they're wearing bikini tops, and on the day of a photo shoot or of a wedding, they're wearing a low-cut top. Okay. How do you balance out your tan line so it's not as prevalent?
You mean when you see a tan line, like as in their face is too light, or as in they have a bikini tan line? Or the straps?
Yeah, it could be primarily straps. So you'll see it when you're doing a sweetheart or I forget what the cuts are.
Right. Yeah, I guess any strapless dress.
Yeah, any strapless dress, because typically when you're at the beach, you're going to wear a bikini top and you're going to have those lines that come down. So so what's your recommendation for that? Like, prefer not to Photoshop it because it's just more work.
Yeah,
and it's difficult when you're doing
Photoshop that.
Yeah, exactly.
So with that one, the bride, that's something that maybe she could have consulted with her esthetician or makeup artist with, and just maybe talked about something like that beforehand. So if she knew she was going to get tan lines, the bride could probably have gotten a spray tan. So the spray tan would have covered the tan lines. If you don't have time for a spray tan, she can also have put self-tanner on, maybe 2-3 days in advance, just to help fade it out a little bit.
Sorry, so just going back to spray tan.
Yeah.
So spray tans actually balance out everything?
Yeah, because spray tan actually helps your skin color naturally develop to the next darker shades, depending on what level you've chosen your spray tan to be. So the spray tan would actually, once your skin has developed to the next darker shade, it actually just hides everything, it blends everything out.
Perfect.
So that's what a self-tanner would do as well, but not as in quick of a timing. Because spray tans, you get your maximum color development in 24 hours because of the intensity of the dosage at the spray tan place. But then your self-tanner, if you're applying it topically yourself every day, it takes a few more days to gradually develop the color. So if she has time, she can do that as well.
Okay.
And let's say she shows up like that on the photo shoot day and she wants it off. So then the makeup artist could actually blend it out with a little bit of foundation and mineral makeup, so that way it doesn't budge, and follow the exact same steps as in our foundation application episode.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, so that would be really all you can do, and then the bride will just have to be really careful. She doesn't like rub on anybody, right? So then it gets on everyone's nice clothes, or I guess more so her groom, right?
Yeah.
Because the suit probably is fairly nice that day. But yeah, so it's just all makeup magic. We do have an episode as well that we just filmed last time on foundation matching. So if, let's say, well, your makeup artist wouldn't have a hard time helping you match the foundation, but let's say if you did, if sometimes the makeup artist will ask you, can I just use your color? Because it's your color and it'll be easy for them. They don't have to match it, they can just use it. You just go into a store and that episode teaches you how to find the right color for you. And then again, with the tan lines, if there's like all different sorts of colors on their skin from chest up, just because of the tanning, because sometimes your forehead's lighter and then your chest is darker, or then your nose is redder or something. Or maybe you have circles under your eyes and then you have some sallowness. I don't know, you could be multicolored some days. So then the makeup artist will actually help you be able to blend it all together by choosing, they'll pick out all the colors that are on you and finding a color that blends all of them together, so then you look super even. So that's another trick we have as well.
That's terrific. Well, thank you, Shelly. Thank you for your time. I hope the people out there get value from this. I know I have. I find myself being behind the camera and watching all these different video tips that I hate to pick out, but I'll say, hey, you know what, maybe you should try this with your lipstick, or if you want to make your lipstick last longer, do the little eye with the liner thing. So people look at me a little bit funny now. But, yeah, but even for photographers out there too, this is great because we can bring our brides or whoever we're doing photos with into better light to make sure that we actually have the best light for the best look. So thank you.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for being such an awesome photographer and videographer all the time. John did do our wedding as well, and he was so great. We love our pictures. Yeah,
thanks,
you're awesome. Love working with you.
All right.
Okay.
Well, so you're gonna do your little outro?
Yeah, sure.
Thing?
Yeah. Thanks for watching our videos again. Now you know who's behind the camera. I'm glad you all got to meet him. If you like this episode, please click subscribe, and we will see you next time.
All right. Bye.
Bye.